Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about something in astrology that is very important. Very, very important. And that is how to find your purpose in a chart. You realize that purpose is what makes us feel like we're living the life we've come here to live. If you don't have a sense of purpose, you're going to feel meaningless. It's true. So how do we find purpose in a chart? Well, I'll tell you right away. It is looking at your 10th house in your chart. The 10th house is your house of purpose. And this is actually what we call an Artha house. Artha means materialism, putting food on the table, being able to support yourself, your family, to have wealth too. And that is all about the 10th house. Now, the 10th house is the most elevated house in a chart. And if you're looking at a circular chart, which I usually look at the Indian square charts, but when you're looking at the circular chart, the 10th house is at the top. It's the most elevated, and if you were born around noontime, then that means your sun will be in the 10th house, because at that point, I always say, the sun casts no shadows. But this is the 10th house. This is purpose. Let's get back to what we need to talk about. But before I do, let me remind everyone, sign up for my free newsletter. Go to galacticcenter.org. While you're there, check out my Patreon, my spiritual community. I would love to have you part of that group. Then, while you're there, check out my galactic planner. If you want to know what's in your 10th house, what your chart looks like, you're going to want the galactic planner. It does all this. So check it out. Does all your transits, which will prepare you every day, the predictions you need every day of your life. Go to galacticplanner.com. And it's all on galacticcenter.org. And last but not least, if you want to learn Vedic astrology, now's the time. I'm starting semester 1 again, and very, very soon, in a few weeks. So sign up, become my student, go to universityofvedicastrology.com. All right, so 10th house, the most elevated house of the chart. Did you know the 10th house is your social standing? It is your reputation, how the world sees you, observes you, because that's where you're out in the public, in the open. You're out there. Now, the 10th house is said to be the house of career. And that should be what gives you purpose and meaning in life. But for most people, it doesn't. So it's not always just career. It is a sense of purpose and meaning in your chart. Okay, so the 10th house dealing with work, with career, with purpose. Anyone that has a lot of planets in the 10th house loves their work, and they're focused around work all the time. Their work is their purpose, their work is their fun, they love working. Because really, let me just say this, it is their identity. When you have the ruling planet of your chart, which can be the planet that rules your ascendant. Let me explain the chart for those of you that don't know. A chart is your map. The way it is set up is by your birthday, your year, your time of birth, and your place of birth. And it puts it divides these sections of 12 houses. Each house represents a different area of your life. And the one that gives you purpose is the 10th house. That's what we're talking about today. But when you have planets in the 10th house, you're going to have this real drive for your career, because that's who you are and your purpose in life. And like I say, those people that don't have a sense of purpose just seem to flounder around and feel like life is meaningless. You've got to have a purpose. So, going back to the 10th house. Certain planets here will really make you strive for your purpose, find your sense of purpose, your career, and many times want to be the boss, rule, not follow. And I tell people that have the sun in the 10th house, you need to have your own business. You do not take orders very well from other people. You need to be the boss. Because consequently, you probably know more than the boss. Boss may be threatened by you. You should have your own business. The sun is the king in astrology. Put it in the 10th house. You need to have your own business. You need to be your own boss. Period. Now let's talk a little bit too about the fact that the 10th house is relative to the 10th sign in the natural zodiac, which is Capricorn. What have you heard about Capricorns? That they're high achievers. What is their symbol? A goat that travels up the mountain. So they're achieving, they want to hit that greatness in their world of accomplishment. And their accomplishment comes through their career and their work. Okay? We study in school to find a career, but you got to have one that you love to feel purposeful. So using your talents, your gifts, something that really expands who you are will give you a sense of purpose. That's your 10th house. So I mentioned the sun in the 10th house being really high achievers, needing to have their own business, love their work. But if you have Mars there, you're super ambitious and you're driven to achieve with your work. Mars is actually wonderfully placed in the 10th house. It makes you a high achiever, ambitious and driven, just like the sign Capricorn, the mountain climber. Let's put Venus in the 10th house. That's kind of a soft, beautiful planet. It deals with creativity and talent. Many people that have Venus in the 10th house will have a career that deals with the arts. They could be designers, interior designers. They could design clothes. They can be into fashion. Love it. They just love it. They could even be, for that matter, a hairdresser. Venus deals with beauty, a makeup consultant, anything to do with beauty, the arts, even an artist with Venus in the 10th house. But Venus in the 10th house will give that appreciation for beauty, and the career will go easily for them because Venus is a great planet. They attract good things in their work and their career and good people. Put Mercury in the 10th house. They should be in a field of communications because Mercury's all about writing, communicating, or learning, being a teacher, a director, someone who directs and teaches people within the job. If you have Jupiter in the 10th house, you'll be lucky. You will come across great positions and opportunities within your work. And yes, you should probably have your own business as well because you're very, very lucky when it comes to work. And you could attract some very, very good people in your work and even employers or companies and or bosses that are very kind to you and appreciate what you do. Saturn in the 10th, you work hard, really, really hard. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have Saturn in the 10th house, but many times they say you could work for the government. You could be a politician. Saturn in the 10th house. But Saturn in the 10th house makes you work harder. You have more responsibility in your work too. And your bosses may be hard on you because the 10th house actually represents your boss too, who you work for, the company. So, hey, all that could represent something to do with even the industry, the kind of industry that you're in. Saturn could be the government, yes. So, the sun, let's see, Mercury's communications, Venus is the arts. Mars is really driven and ambitious. So what about Rahu and Ketu in the 10th house? Rahu in the 10th house will make you just as driven as Mars and the Sun. You want to achieve and you're very successful. You will have a very successful work and career with Rahu in the 10th house. You will shine. You will be on top of it. You know what I didn't discuss though? Is the moon in the 10th house. The moon is the public. It's the masses. It's the people. And many, many times when people have the moon in the 10th house, they are very well known for what they do in their line of work. They are famous in their field. So if they're an interior designer, they will be a famous interior designer. If they're a plumber, they could be the best plumber in the city. But many movie stars do have the moon in the 10th house because it makes them shine to the public. They are well known to the public. Remember, the moon is the masses and the people. But Ketu in the 10th house. Ketu in the 10th house can definitely mean either that you change jobs a lot, because Ketu is kind of like that gypsy that's always, changing and moving in different directions. But on the other hand, it can definitely mean that you have a very unusual job. Now, I actually have Ketu in the 10th house from my moon. So that's another thing. Look at the 10th house from your moon as well as your ascendant. And I have to say I have a very unusual job. An astrologer is not, when people ask me what I do and I say astrologer, they go, "You're a what?" Or they look at me in surprise usually. That's unless I'm around people like all of you that are watching. But for the most part, when I go out into the real world and, I'm on vacation and you're on a tour or something and people ask you, "What do you do?" "I'm an astrologer." It's very different than saying I'm a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor. Ketu in the 10th house would make you have a very unusual, unique career. All right. Now, the outer planets I don't look at as much because they're more influenced by when they're aspecting the inner planets, such as if you had Pluto, but the Sun, Pluto's Sun, you would be the controller in your work. Pluto deals with control. Okay. Neptune could be something very creative. You could be an artist, but Neptune could be a designer. But Neptune many times can even deal with music and the arts. So Neptune, and or maybe work in the oil industry. That's definitely a possibility with Neptune. And Uranus can deal with electricity. It deals with computers, technology, Uranus in the 10th. That's another thing. Or astrology for that matter. And or that you change jobs a bit. You're in different positions all the time. Maybe not a long-standing, you get temporary jobs with Uranus because it means change. But the 10th house is really going to depict where you feel purposeful. For example, my 10th house, Jupiter rules my 10th house. I don't have any planets in my 10th house, but Jupiter rules my 10th house. And it goes to the 3rd house. I'm a teacher. I'm a writer. That's what the 3rd house deals with: communications, writing, teaching, and travel. And I was a flight attendant. So you can see how the ruler of a house going to a particular house will tell you all about your career, your purpose, what you love in life. That's how you take astrology. Having no planets in my 10th house doesn't mean I don't work. It's the ruler of a house. This is how it works. It's a whole setup of a map. And it's not just where the planets are, or definitely not just their signs. But all of this plays important in deciphering everything, all the details. It is what makes astrology complicated, but so fascinating. It is your life map. It tells you everything about you. Everything. Past, present, and future. But look at that 10th house if you're looking to find, what is my purpose? What gives me meaning in life? It's going to be your 10th house. So with that, I think I'll close. Remember, if you want more information on me, you can always go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. And if you want to study with me, go to my university, universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.